And welcome back to Who Would Win, a special birthday Who Would Win. Sorry, this is late. As actually with the last video, um, the not last video, that would be the Naruto What If, but the previous video, the Digimon Partner Series, we had a huge nor'easter come in, and we lost power at the house for the majority of the day. I didn't get it back till like 9:30 in the evening, and it was gone by at least around 4 a.m. So it was gone for over 12 hours. And so I didn't actually see the birthday request for today that was given to me Tuesday until earlier today. So it didn't go against my don't give it to me the day of rule. So that's why I'm still honoring it. Uh, as for why it just took me as long as it did, I didn't actually find the comment until much later today. Anyway, I digress. This comes up from Nate Jones, who asked the question, who will win a fight? M. Bison versus Mr. Incredible. On the surface, this doesn't seem fair in many regards. M. Bison's got a lot of abilities. He's a skilled martial artist. Mr. Incredible is basically the Superman of his world, so one of them seems like they overpower the other pretty easily. However, I think it's a little bit more varied than that. Let's start with Mr. Incredible. We already know that. He was a superhero. He's kind of the Superman of his world. Then he was forced into retirement like all the other superheroes. They obviously outlawed him, and then he came back out of retirement, and so forth and so on. What does he have over M. Bison? Well, honestly, he doesn't have much in terms of powers. He can't fly. He's not super fast like Dash, but what he does have is extreme physicality. He is Mr. Incredible for a reason. He was capable of literally turning the direction of a giant tanker with just his pure strength alone. I think he was bench pressing, what was it, buses or plane? I can't remember. He was bench pressing a lot to get back into shape in the original. This is a man whose physicality is his strength, literally. And durability is strong enough to match. I mean, he's able to just easily manhandle baby Jack Jack, who's kind of all over the place with powers. And yeah, he's just like, no, 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 don't do that. He can take explosions without too much difficulty. Higher power explosions, though, he's a bit more vulnerable to. He has decades worth of experience being a seasoned hero. He's very powerful, but that's pretty, and he's not dumb either. He can definitely strategize when he needs to, all that. But he doesn't have much beyond there. Everyone in the Incredibles universe doesn't have like a subset of powers with their power. It's more that their powers are, with the exception of Jack Jack, who has God knows how many powers. It's more like their powers have a secondary effect. For example, Violet it basically has Sue Storm-esque powers, but that allows for many different things. But it all stems from like one different power, more or less. It's like psycho, telekinetic kind of energy, kind of. Dash can move extremely fast, but there are other abilities that come with that, like the ability to run on water or the ability to perceive things in a slower rate of motion, so forth and so on. Last Woman has the ability to turn basically into like elastic-like substance. Her body is very, malleable, but it has other abilities beyond that. So there are other sub-abilities within their main abilities, but that doesn't mean they have a wide range of abilities. This is where M. Bison, who is the leader of the terrorist organization Shadowloo from Street Fighter, has a serious one-up edge on Mr. Incredible. While Mr. Incredible certainly has the physicality advantage, no one I think would argue that. M. Bison really has just about everything else on him. He's an evil genius. He is just smarter than him. He is a far better fighter. He is a legitimate martial artist. And while he's not Mr. Incredible strong, he's not physically weak by any stretch of the imagination either. He's probably got better combat reflexes than Mr. Incredible does. He's also has the ability to use his own aura, his own like life force as an ability called his psycho. What is the name of it again? His psycho power. That's it. And he made his own martial arts style with that. Is the name of spiritual energy that is utilized by combatants in Street Fighter series. Basically, while some other people can use it, it is really down to M. Bison, who has been described as the dark side of soul power demonstrated by Rose. According to M. Bison's Win quotes, the Street Fighter 2 Psycho Power feeds off the fear, anger, and hatred of others. This energy can also be used to affect the skin, body color, eyes, mind, hairstyle, hair people shown violent in Ken and Bison. M. Bison is so skilled at this that he actually has dummy body. It burns through his actual body, like his own body is like on a timer when he's using it. And eventually, when it burns down, he actually goes into a separate, like not it's a dummy body basically. Through his psycho powers, he's able to basically use many different abilities most people would not be able to. Through its use, he has gained a considerable amount of strength, expelling all remorse, compassion, and humanity from his soul. In addition to being used in several of his moves in the series, this energy also grants him the ability of things like intangibility, flight, float, teleportation, telekinesis, soul manipulation, though he can only possess other users' bodies if they are exposed to psycho power, and control of minds of other beings as seen with the dolls. He can feel energy. He can also feel energy scourges regenerate via the psycho drive, and create a wormhole for traveling, as seen during Guile's rival battle in the arcade mode. Um, his psycho power can exceed the limits of his body. This would prove to be partially responsible for the events in Street Fighter Alpha 3, where he sought out Ryu in order to see whether his body sealant Bison could exceed Bison's current body. He also believes that the Satsu no Hado within Ryu was the ultimate form of psycho power, though he does not further explain the connection between the two. It's revealed by Violet Ken that the Satsu no Hada and psycho power are not related. They are both bounded to the supernatural. There's also the existence of a device called the Psycho Drive. Regardless, psycho power is something that gives him God knows how many abilities in the fight. And this leads us to the fight itself. Obviously, Mr. Incredible would, if the very nature of the fight would be very simple. And Bison's causing trouble, and Mr. Incredible, of all people, shows up to try to stop him. He's like, I'm looking for a more worthy opponent, not you, Incredible. Well, buddy, I'm all you got, so let's do this. And then Mr. Incredible comes in. And any strike he lands on M. Bison, or M. Bison on Mr. Incredible, no, yeah, any strike he lands on M. Bison, that shit's gonna hurt. M. Bison is not infallible. He has been beaten before. The only one who can actually put him down normally is Akuma, though, and Ryo. But yeah, so that being said, the ability to just turn intangible or teleport can easily keep him out of harm's way unless he's caught off guard. Add on to the fact that he's also just a much better fighter than Mr. Incredible, and he's already got a bit of a problem on his hands. Mr. Incredible turns to just trying to put this guy down. Eventually, he decides to try to figure out where he's going to end up. Grabs like a tanker that got thrown down, or a vehicle, and just throws it in the next location to where he thinks M. Bison is going to be. M. Bison turns out to be there, sees the car coming, just boom, he gets hit, boom, hear the horn honk. But he just cuts it with the psycho. It's like, yeah. And then just as he cuts it, Mr. Incredible comes in, just boom, just cracks him straight in the jaw, and just boom, and he just goes flying. Only for him to reappear, jaw probably broken, and it just kind of puts it back in place. And then he just grabs him by the head and just starts just mind F him. And this is where I think one of the big problems for Mr. Incredible is. He just doesn't have any other extra abilities outside of his physicality. We saw in Incredibles 2 that he could easily be hypnotized just like anyone else could. He wasn't immune to psionics or anything like that. While he's probably got a decent level, decent mind of, he's got probably decent willpower and a decent level of durability. He could probably, resist some basic mind, like basic hypnosis wouldn't do anything with him. But actual legitimate like telekinesis or telepathy, body possession, mind control, all of that it's something he's not immune to. If someone with advanced hypnotism could just, mind erase him, then I have no doubt M. Bison's abilities could definitely take over his mind. The only reason we saw Elastic Woman get out of that is because the goggles got slightly moved off of her face, and therefore only one eye was being, manipulated, and she was able to snap out of it. So unfortunately, this fight would really just drag for a while until he's able to get a good grasp on Mr. Incredible's psyche. So yeah, this would I think would go to M. Bison in the long run. Is there a way for Mr. Incredible to win? Oh, absolutely. He could just, if he gets a hold of him at any point, he just wails on him until his body's pulp. But M. Bison is not going to let that happen easily, if at all. So I would go M. Bison, but there is a small chance I think Mr. Incredible could win. But what do you think? Honestly, he'd probably try to make him his new body if he could. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Happy birthday, and I'll see you next time.